Hello YouTube, welcome back. Chris here. Want to do another bicycle shopping guide. Today we're going to cover the Specialized Sirrus. We did the Cirrus X previously, and I'll link that video right here. So let's talk about the Cirrus. Right now I am on the Specialized.com page for fitness bikes. You can find that at the top with bikes. You go to Active Fitness. Once you're at this page, if we scroll down to the bottom here, we've got our Cirrus X and our regular Cirrus. So let's go ahead and hit Shop All. Something to note here, when you do go under this tab, they are going to show you both Cirruses and Cirrus X's. You can eliminate the X's if you want and see just the Cirruses by clicking on Cirrus here. So these are your current Cirrus models. I'm also going to sort these priced low to high. So let's get into the first one here. First bike in the Cirrus lineup, the entry-level price point, the Cirrus 1.0. This bike sells for $500 USD. It comes in 6 different sizes, ranging from extra small all the way up to extra large. This bike comes in 3 different colors, the first one being gloss black with charcoal highlights and satin black reflective lettering. They also have the gloss cast lilac, which is like a darker maroony purple color with vivid coral, an orangey coral color of highlights, and as well as reflective lettering. And then the gloss forest green with white mountains and satin black reflective lettering. All 3 very nice looking colors. And here let's get into the technical specifications. So this bicycle is Specialized A1 premium aluminum. So it's an aluminum frame. It is going to be a steel fork. As I mentioned in my other video, they do steel forks on these, not aluminum forks, because it's a little more vibration dampening, a little smoother, and a little more forgiving for a fork. This bike is going to come with standard V brakes. These are rim brakes. They're located right up here on the rims. Nothing over the top, but they do work just fine for this type of riding. If you don't need any crazy high braking power, they will work plenty well, easy to service, and inexpensive to service as well. This bike is going to come with Shimano, a mix of Shimano componentry. The rear derailleur is a Shimano Altus, the front a Shimano Tourney. This is pretty common where they'll step up the rear one notch, so Altus is 1 notch above Tourney. The shifters are the Shimano EF500, which is kind of a Tourney Altus level of shifter. Cassette, this is going to be a 7-speed 12 to 32 Shimano HG200, so a nice wide gear range. And the crankset is going to be a double Shimano Tourney 4630. So something we're seeing more and more on these fitness hybrids, they're going away from that triple. So it's no longer going to be a 24-speed bike, but rather a 14. Now a lot of people will think, oh, it's a downgrade, they're taking gears off. Well, not really. They're taking off a lot of overlapping gears, a lot of unnecessary gears. So it's got a tighter gear range, but it is a little bit more dedicated to what the style riding is. So a little crisper shifting, a little less chain overlap, having only a double, not a triple. And most people, in my experience, prefer, once they've actually ridden the double versus the triple, the double works so much better. So 2-ring on this bike, something newer that they're doing. Just got a standard set of wheels on here, double wall aluminum rims. So double wall rims, I did a whole video on single wall versus double wall. I'll link that right here. That is a nice feature. I have a nice strong wheel set at a bike at this price point. Here's all the sizing for the bike. We're not going to go through that with you, but if you want to, you can look at it here at Specialized.com. So that's our Cirrus 1.0. Let's go ahead and go to our next bike in the lineup, the Cirrus 2.0. Now the 2.0 from the 1.0 is a big upgrade. This bike here runs $650 and comes in 3 colors as well. Gloss Hyper, which is that high vis yellow with black and black reflective lettering. Also comes in the gloss Vivid Coral, which is that corally orange, and a matte black. So it's not the same black as your 1.0. This is going to be a matte, satin finish, where the 1.0 is a gloss black. Same as the 1.0, comes in all the same sizes. But let's get into the specs here, because that's where this bike really has a big difference. Frame and fork are going to be exactly the same as the 1.0. When you get down here, this is your first big difference here is going to be your brakes. ProMax F1 hydraulic disc brakes. So big upgrade in the brakes. It's a disc brake versus a rim brake, but it's also hydraulic. So it's got a hydraulic line, hydraulic cylinder, so a lot more braking power, a little bit more confidence in accelerating and slowing down, more confidence in cornering, more confidence in wet and loose terrain, and better braking power, especially in wet conditions. So a lot of added benefit from that. When we get down to our drivetrain here, front derailleur still a Turney, rear derailleur they bumped it up from a Altus to an Acera, and worth noting this is now 8 speeds. You have one extra gear in the back, and just like the other bike, it is a double. So it's a 2x8, 8-speed rear cassette, 11 to 32 teeth, so nice wide gear range, and then the crank says a Turney 4630. So 8-speed drivetrain here with Shimano Acera 8-speed shifters. So nice little upgrade in the drivetrain, big upgrade in the brakes, and that's really what you're paying for in difference between this bike and the 1.0. So for an extra $150, you're getting hydraulic disc brakes, 8-speed drivetrain, a little bit nicer components. Oh, also worth noting, they do make the Cirrus 2 in a step-through for people who do want that low entry bike. They make it in one color, which is that vivid coral. All the specs for the step-through and the regular will be the same, so we don't really need to go through that. Moving on to the 3.0. The Cirrus 3.0 is going to be another upgrade yet from the 2.0. This goes up to a $900 price point. It comes in 3 different colors. The first one you're seeing here is gloss cast black with rocket red highlights. They also offer it in the summer blue, which is like a light robin's egg type blue with crimson hints, and a dusty turquoise. Now this is a matte finish bike. It's not gloss, but very good looking bike, and that has black highlights on it. This bike as well is available in all the same sizes. And then let's get into the specs. Same aluminum frame for this bike. Big difference here is going to be the fork. This comes with a Specialized Fact carbon fork. What that means, front piece here, if you're not familiar with what the fork is, instead of being steel, is going to be carbon fiber. Now, a lot of people look at carbon fiber and they think the reason that they're doing that is weight. It's lighter weight, definitely is lighter weight than steel or aluminum, but that's not really the main reason they do this. It is a reason, but the main reason they do this is carbon fiber is a composite. It's not a metal, super vibration dampening. So what happens is when you get those jarring road bumps in the front, this fork is going to absorb a lot of that shock. Take that shock from transferring up into your handlebars, your hands, your wrists, your elbows, your shoulders, etc. So really nice micro suspension type technology just to make it a little easier on the body here and make the bike ride a little bit smoother and nicer for you. This bike will also have a Tektro hydraulic disc brake on it, front and rear. And then we get to our drivetrain. Now, on this bike, they are using a micro shift setup. I do have experience with this setup. It is not Shimano, but I think it is very comparable. It gives you a lot for your money in the 9-speed range. So you have a 9-speed set of shifters, 9-speed micro shift front derailleur, Shimano Sora 9-speed rear derailleur. So worth noting, they are at this level starting to go towards road componentry as opposed to hybrid or entry-level mountain componentry. So it will give you the option to gear the bike a little bit higher, make it a little bit quicker. Interesting, they don't list the crankset on here. So I'll have to look into that and find out what crankset it is. I'm guessing it's going to be a compact road crank, which is a 50 by 34 tooth, but I don't know that 100% because it's not listed here. Shimano threaded bottom bracket, 1134 9-speed cassette. Nice setup. Double wall set of disc wheels. And that's the difference. So on your 3.0, you're really paying for that carbon fork, that 9-speed road drivetrain, Shimano Sora, and micro shift mix. They do also make this in a step-through. I don't know if they're going to continue this bike. The reason I say that is it looks like they're marking it down as if to get rid of it. We'll see what happens there in the future, but this is going to be the same spec in a step-through frame. Next up, we go to our Cirrus 4.0. Cirrus 4.0, really nice looking bike. This is worth noting, it is a different frame than the other ones we've covered thus far. Comes in two different colors, satin flake silver, which is a matte silver, super nice looking bike, and the gloss UV lilac, so high gloss lilac purple, really a nice looking bike as well. $1,300 for this bike. Comes in sizes ranging from extra small to double XL, so different than the standard Cirruses. This Cirrus is going to have no 2 extra small, and it does have a 2 extra large. They shift the sizing a little bit, so it comes in a bigger frame, but not the really tiny one. Alright, biggest difference here at $1,300, Specialized Fact 9R carbon frame. So as opposed to just the fork being carbon, now the entire bike is carbon. And same principles apply. Vibration dampening, yes, it's a little bit lighter, a little bit more stiff side to side and compliant up and down, so easier on the body. Super responsive, lively riding, and a very comfortable, easy riding bike. You are also going to have your carbon fork, of course, that goes with that. Tektro hydraulic disc brakes, and this bike has the same setup as the 3.0 as far as drivetrain. So 9-speed Shimano Sora and microshift mix. So yeah, same setup as your 3.0, but really on a carbon frame. So pretty much all specs on this bike are going to be the same between this one and your 3.0. You're just paying that extra for that full carbon fiber frame. And last but certainly not least, our flagship of the Cirrus lineup. Kind of curious, they skip over the 5.0 level. They used to make one in there that came with Shimano Tiagra componentry, but they've eliminated that bike from the lineup, and we go right to the 6.0. This bike's only available in one color. It is this satin carbon with rainbow reflective lettering on it. Nice looking bike. This bike here really does rival a carbon road bike. I mean, it's got all the things you'd be looking for in a carbon road bike. Sizing on this is going to be the same as on our 4.0, extra small to 2XL, and this bike runs you $2,300 USD. Alright, so same carbon frame as the 4.0, carbon fork. This is where our big difference is going to be. Brakes and drivetrain. This has Shimano hydraulic disc brakes, MT201s, and it's going to have an 11-speed 105 drivetrain. So 105 rear derailleur, 105 front derailleur. Looks like it does use a microshift shift lever, which is pretty common to see. Your rear, they left the cassette off the specs here, that's interesting. 48-32 tooth on the chain rings. That's probably what the 4.0 comes with, as they did not list the chain rings and cranks. But I'm guessing it's probably the same as that 48-32, and the cassette I'm guessing is probably a 11 or 12 to 32. I have to look at that to be sure though. This bike is going to come with a nice set of DT Swiss R470 wheels, so a big wheel upgrade here, and very nice tires. These are tubeless ready Roubaix tires from Specialized. So on this one, you're paying for the drivetrain, nicer wheels, nicer brakes. But one other thing that we need to point out, this has the Future Shock on it. So the only Cirrus in the lineup, other than the Cirrus X's, that's going to have a Future Shock. So a really nice feature there. You got that extra suspension where it's 15-20 millimeters of travel here to make it easier on your hands, wrists, and shoulders, etc. So only bike in there to have that feature. So I hope that was helpful. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to ask below in the comments. I've been doing these videos to help people look at these bikes because they're really impossible to find in stores nowadays, so I figured this was better than nothing to have someone who knows a little bit about these bikes walk you through them online. If you like this, please like and subscribe. I'm going to be making more videos in this series similar to this, and we will see you next time.